Ladies and gentlemen, the Pleb is back. In tonight's report, the biggest gold heist in Canadian history has finally been solved, and I have all the details. As well, tonight, the man behind ArriveCan testifies in front of the House of Commons and says he can't answer questions because of his mental health. And in our last story, Pierre Poilievre accuses Jagmeet Singh of selling out the country for his pension. You won't want to miss tonight's story. Stick around. Tonight's episode has been brought to you by Beaver Bitcoin. The thing that makes Bitcoin so valuable is that there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin ever produced. And if you're like me and you want to get your hands on some Bitcoin, head over to beaverbitcoin.com/pleb and sign up at the link in the description below. Beaver Bitcoin is the easiest place to buy Bitcoin in Canada. Thank you for sponsoring today's report. Also, if you guys are like me and hate the fake news, smash the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, because I'm going to tell you the news the mainstream media won't. Welcome to your Thursday report. Tonight's story will start with an update from yesterday's video. Yesterday, I put out a video talking about halal mortgages, and apparently Canadians really like the idea of these halal mortgages because halal mortgages is now the #1 trending topic in Canada. Hilarious. But in all seriousness, tonight's first story will start with a massive update. Last year in Canada, there was one of the largest heists in North American history at the Toronto airport, where a bunch of gold went missing. But 1 year later, apparently we have some updates here, and the suspects have been caught.
The investigation involves a stolen quantity of gold and foreign currency that were ordered from a refinery in Zurich, Switzerland. The gold and currency were transported in the hull of an Air Canada flight in an approved airline container destined for Toronto. This flight arrived at Toronto's Pearson International Airport on April 17th, 2023 at 3:56 p.m. Shortly after, the gold and currency were offloaded from the aircraft and brought into Air Canada cargo facility. At 6:32 p.m., the suspect arrived at Air Canada Cargo driving a 5-ton truck. The suspect reversed his vehicle to the loading dock and exited the truck. The suspect was carrying a fraudulent airway bill as he approached the warehouse.
Wow.
The image you see is the actual airway bill that the suspect produced. The airway bill is for a legitimate shipment of seafood that was picked up the day before. This duplicate airway bill was printed off from a printer within Air Canada Cargo. Once inside the warehouse, the suspect provided it to Air Canada Cargo warehouse attendant. A short time later, a forklift arrived with a container of gold and foreign currency and loaded it into the rear of the suspect's truck. The suspect then drives away.
Now, initially, they got away with it. This 20-ton truck drove to the middle of Milton, and then the gold went missing for a while. But a year later, the police finally cracked the case, and here is what they seized.
In search warrants, investigators seized the following items: $430,000 in Canadian currency. We believe this money is some of the profits the suspects made when they sold the gold. 6 cruelly made gold bracelets that resemble bangles, however they lack various principles typically associated with fine jewelry. These items were sent off for expert examination and are considered to be pure gold. The total value of these 6 gold bracelets is over $89,000. Smelting pots, casts, and molds. These are commonly used in the industry to change the composition of gold. We believe the items you see here today were used to change the composition of the stolen gold bars to different forms, like the bracelets you just saw. 2 debt lists, one for $9.943 million and the other for $10.023 million. A common term in drug trafficking investigations, we believe these lists actually show where the money was distributed when the gold was sold by the suspects. These lists were found at 2 separate locations, and you'll notice we blurred out the names. However, they are consistent on each list. We are working hard to identify each of these individuals. Some other items on the list, they have allocated money for trips, supplies, and personal items. The suspect used a 5-ton truck to steal the gold and currency from Air Canada Cargo. As the chief mentioned, that truck is behind me today. Investigators have identified and charged or issued warrants for 9 individuals with over 19 charges.
And now we get to see who did the largest heist in the history of Canada.
Paul Sadu, a 54-year-old man from Brampton and an Air Canada employee.
Air Canada employee.
Emmett Jalota, a 40-year-old man from Oakville. Ahmad Chaudhry, a 43-year-old man from Georgetown. Ali Raza, a 37-year-old man from Toronto who also happens to be a jewelry store owner. Prasath Parmalingam, a 35-year-old man from Brampton. These individuals have been released on conditions and will appear at the Ontario Court of Justice in Brampton at a later date.
Wait, so you're telling me that these people who committed the largest heist in Canadian history are out on charges? What?
Canada-wide warrants have been issued for the following individuals. Simranpreet Panazar, a 31-year-old man from Brampton and a former Air Canada employee who was employed at the time of the theft.
Wow.
Archit Grover, a 36-year-old man from Brampton. Arsalan Chaudhry, a 42-year-old man from Mississauga. Investigators urge these individuals to seek legal counsel and turn themselves into police. And finally, the driver. A warrant in the first has been issued for Durante King McLean for theft over $5,000 and possession of property obtained by crime. I spoke about the fraudulent airway bill when we were alleging the driver produced. Through forensic examination and through other police techniques, we identified King McLean as the driver early on in the investigation. For the months that followed in the summer, we tried to locate King McLean or his associates. That brought us to September. In September 2023, Durante King McLean was stopped in a rental vehicle by Pennsylvania State Police near Chalmersburg, Pennsylvania. After a brief foot chase, he was detained and troopers located 65 illegal firearms within the vehicle. Since his arrest, Project 24 Carat investigators have been liaising with our friends with the ATF.
When this crime happened last year, I thought for sure this was like the Italian mafia, the Hells Angels that did this. I mean, is anyone else shocked that it's a bunch of Indian dudes from Brampton? Also, how crazy is it that 4 of them are already walking on the streets after committing the largest gold heist in Canadian history? Well, I'm not the only one who is shocked by that because apparently the Peel Regional Police are baffled by it as well.
How individuals are released is a frustration. We have highlighted the fact that it wasn't just a theft, it's a dotted line correlation to public safety being compromised here.
Duh.
And so we really believe that, the risk that is involved with the substantive offense is far more greater than what sometimes we see individuals being either withheld in court or for bail or release. Our next thing is, as long as they comply with conditions, those are the things that are still our responsibility to contribute to. But it is a very frustrating thing for our members, no doubt. But it is part of the environment here in Canada.
Jail, not bail, is what Pierre Poilievre is campaigning on right now, and it's pretty obvious to me who these cops and these police unions are going to vote for in the next election, and it's definitely not Justin Trudeau and his soft-on-crime policies. And Canadian hero and Freedom Convoy organizer Tamara Leach chimed in here and said that she's done more jail time than any of these criminals. Welcome to Canada, where throwing one of the most beautiful, peaceful protests of all time gets you thrown in jail, but the biggest gold heist in Canadian history? We'll let them back out on the streets. And one of the suspects from this case was literally spotted in the streets of Toronto yesterday on his way going to the gym, just like any other regular day in his life.
That's the guy right there. That's the guy that did the fucking ArriveCan heist. Holy fuck.
Oh my God, it is him.
That's the guy right there. That's the guy that did the fucking ArriveCan heist.
It's truly unbelievable. Welcome to Justin Trudeau's Clown World. And speaking on the topic of Clown World, okay, this is it here. This bump is really annoying me. I look like I'm about to go commit a gold heist in Toronto. Just kidding. Okay, jokes aside, Christian Fifth, who is the owner of GC Strategies, was in the House of Commons yesterday testifying and gave the most absurd reason why he could not answer questions after stealing $20 million from us, the Canadian taxpayers. Watch this.
Mr. Speaker, is Mr. Firth comfortable sharing what the doctor told him?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, yes, I am. I'm supposed to not participate in any activity that would cause any undue stress to myself, as being diagnosed with having acute mental health flare-ups, actively under therapy, and also on medication.
Oh, this is a good get out of jail free card here, saying he can't answer these questions because of his mental health. This dude sounds like a leftist.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, was the information about Mr. Firth's medical condition shared with the House of Commons administration?
Mr. Firth.
Sorry, can you answer the question again, please?
Certainly, by all means.
The Honourable... One moment. Just want to make sure the time. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Was the information about Mr. Firth's medical condition shared with the House of Commons administration?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, we shared it with the clerk.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, this information is consistent with what was shared with all recognized parties yesterday individually by the law clerk and parliamentary counsel, that Mr. Firth's health is fragile and that a doctor has provided a note recommending that Mr. Firth does not participate in activities such as the questioning today for mental and physical health reasons. Monsieur le Président said...
Mr. Speaker, this information is consistent with what has been communicated yesterday by the Council and to all recognized party that Mr. Firth's health is fragile and that a doctor has provided a note recommending that Mr. Firth do not participate in activities such as the questioning today for mental and physical health reasons.
What a cop-out.
Understands that he will have to answer questions and is prepared to do so once his health allows it. I want to be crystal clear. We believe that what happened with the ArriveCan app is unacceptable. We want to assure that all unanswered questions receive answers.
Are you absolutely kidding me? Like, he's going to answer the questions when his mental health gets better? This dude stole $20 million from Canadian taxpayers. And how long is it going to take for him to get his mental health in order? What if it never gets in order? Is this guy going to get away with stealing $20 million from us? But someone who did not go easy on Mr. Firth was actually pretty surprising here, was none other than Elizabeth May, leader of the Green Party, happy hour enthusiast, absolutely went in on Christian, and it's glorious.
Mr. Firth, given the experience here and knowing that you have health challenges, all I can say is, aren't you ashamed?
Wow.
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, do I have to answer that?
Yes. Yes, you do.
No, I am not ashamed. I think...
Well, I guess the Green Party finally did deliver some value to this country. Well done, Elizabeth May. I'll give you your props when they are due. That was pretty amazing. The hypocrisy of the airport heist and Arrive scam are both absolutely insane and perfectly pointed out by Bratney here. The guy on the left stole $20 million worth of gold, walking on the streets free. The guy on the right steals $20 million of taxpayer money, and he's walking free, living the high life. Disgusting. Also, anonymous sources came to me on X and told me they know who Christian Firth is. He's known in the Ottawa area, and they told me that this year he has a big house, but he was building an extension on his house, and he's known to have one of the nicest boats on the Ottawa River, all paid by us, the idiots. In our last clip of the night here, I got a funny one. Pierre Poilievre was on the radio yesterday doing an interview, and he basically accused Jagmeet Singh of committing treason and selling out our country for his golden pension. Watch.
Again, I don't think the election should be on Diwali. It's an important holiday for a lot of people. Just move forward a month. But of course, it's not about Diwali. They want to get their pensions. That's why Jagmeet Singh doesn't want an election right now. He doesn't get pensioned up until next year. And so he's keeping Trudeau in power and avoiding an election he might lose, or he will lose, until he gets past the pension finish line. So they're putting their pensions and their paychecks ahead of the well-being of Canadians who can't pay their bills. It's another example of how Trudeau is not worth the cost.
Well, I mean, Pierre is saying what we have been saying for ages. Jagmeet Singh is a scumbag. He's a traitor. He's the worst of the worst. Can you imagine selling out your own country so you could collect a government pension? Props to Pierre Poilievre for calling out Jagmeet Singh for exactly who he is. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap here for today's video. But let me ask you a question. Were you guys surprised when you saw the faces that were behind Canada's largest heist of all time? Also, how do you guys feel about these criminals being out on the street the following day after getting busted doing such a large crime? I want to know in the comments down below. All right, guys, if you enjoyed today's broadcast, smash the like button so YouTube pushes this video out to more people. Share it with your friends. Tell your friends about the Pleb. Buy a $5 Canadian membership to my channel. My name is the Pleb, and I will see you guys at the next one. Peace.